Hello, welcome to Emotional Badass, where Moxie meets Mindful. I am Nikki Eisenhower, life coach and psychotherapist, and today I want to talk about fear. Last episode, we talked about introversion, high sensitivity, being an empath. So I want to talk naturally about fear now. What is fear? What is it? Do you ever think about, what is it? Why do we feel it? One of my favorite books in the world is called The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker. His last name is two words. It's D-E space Becker, B-E-C-K-E-R. The Gift of Fear with Gavin de Becker. And so I want you to consider that instead of fear being this awful thing that we're not supposed to feel, that there is a beautiful gift available to us in fear. Think about it, guys. We're animals. We like to think of ourselves as human, as if we're very separate, above, different than animals in a lot of ways. We're not. For as high consciousness as we are, we're still animals. That fear response that we have is a response that has developed. It has evolved in us to be a huge asset. If I'm walking towards my car in a dark alley at night and I hear footsteps, fear is not there to terrify me, and that's it. Fear is there to make my blood pump and get faster. It's to heighten my senses so that I can either fight another animal off, or I can run like hell and save myself. The other aspect of fear is that we might freeze, just like animals do in the wild. We might freeze so that that predator doesn't chase us. That might be our best instinct in that moment. So that fear response that is so natural, that is a gift. Imagine me being in that alley with someone creepy and not having a fear response. That anxiety, that high breath in the top of the chest, all helps heighten my senses so that I can take care of myself. So maybe this is new to you, or maybe this is old hat, but what would it be like for you to consider making peace with your fears? Because in this modern day life, we don't have the same fears that we did when we were back in cavemen days. Back then we had to stick our heads out of the cave and check for predators. That was one of our main concerns. Not the same concern that we need in modern day. But some of these modern day things, they wreak havoc on our nervous system, on our fear response. If we're scared of an email coming in because we have a tyrant boss, fear is there if I'm getting chased, if my life's in danger. Living with too much of a fear response in the day-to-day keeps our body in a stress mode. The reason that soldiers develop post-traumatic stress during times of war is because their nervous system is on fear response, on high adrenaline response for extended periods of time. Think about those animals in the woods that I've mentioned. Their fear response is meant to go off and last for 1 to 5 minutes. Short burst of adrenaline energy to be able to handle the situation and get out, or you're done. Only in a modern society where abuses or stress can be sustained or can be present for things that aren't truly scary or dangerous, like an email from our boss, or even the fear of what other people will think. So there's this gift of fear. For me to be able to do this show, Emotional Badass, I had to look at all my introversion fears. What happens if I say the wrong thing and I put my foot in my mouth? And I had to talk to that fear. What does happen if I put my foot in my mouth? I may have to own it and apologize. Can I do that? Yeah. And when I tell the fear that, it gets a little smaller, it backs off. Because that fear isn't trying to keep me away from doing a show. What if no one listens? What if no one cares? What if you just sound like a moron? What if someone misconstrues what I say and doesn't make the best decision for themselves? The more I listen to fear, the more I let it grow, the more it tries to warn me and help me in my head, in my thoughts, the more I give up what I feel called to do intuitively. So we have to learn the difference between intuition and anxiety and fear. So I've had to break down all of those fears that I've had, and that's part of why I'm doing the show. I want other sensitive people to know that they can reach for things that scare them and do those scary things to reach their goals, to feel fulfilled. I want you to understand that those fear voices in my own head about doing a show, about being out there, they're not trying to rob me of my dream. They know I've been hurt before, and they're just trying to warn me, hey, Nikki, you could possibly be hurt again. Because there is no tiger about to attack me, there's no scary person about to attack me in a dark alley that I need to run from or fight off. I have to be able to turn to those fears and say, yeah, it is scary to be vulnerable, and I can do it anyway. Thank you so much for listening today. If you liked the show, please share it. You guys are my marketing team, the only team I've got to market this. So if you liked it, if you like what I'm talking about, what I'm sharing, please share it. Please help it get to the right people. I hope you can feel stronger when it comes to your fears today. If you liked what I'm talking about, remember that book. It's called The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker. It's a goodie. It's an old one. He's been on Oprah. So check that out. Come hang out with me April 27th and 28th at the Spectrum Center in Houston, Texas. It's for highly sensitive people only. I call it HSP School, How to Unleash the Superpowers of High Sensitivity and Healing. Sign up. You can still get the early bird at NikkiEisenhauer.com. Thank you so much, guys. This is Nikki Eisenhauer for Emotional Badass.